Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, panel, for being here, and I have a couple questions. My first question is for Mr. Timon. Thank you very much for being here today. And in your testimony, you mentioned the need for Congress to increase flexibility, reduce regulatory burdens, and improve project delivery in our surface transportation system. AASHTO believes Congress should modernize the Clean Water Act, Clean Air Act, and the Endangered Species Act to reduce infrastructure and construction delays. I would like to hear your thoughts on specific ways Congress should change these laws. Can you please provide examples of how these changes would benefit our infrastructure system and help our state departments of transportation?
Thank you for that question. What I would like to request is that I could provide specific recommendations for the record, but if you allow me the opportunity to provide more of an overview, I can say that the changes that we're looking to make to those laws are really updating them. Many of them have not been touched in 20 or 30 years. And it's not that we're looking to not continue to safeguard the environment. Far from it. We think that we can make improvements and changes to those laws, but still make sure we're doing right by the environment. It's the fact that many of them have not been changed at all or changed very little in the last 20 or 30 years that we think that it's time for Congress to at least take a look at those laws to see if there are some improvements or modernizations that can be made.
Okay, thank you very much. My next question is for Mr. Jeffries. Mr. Jeffries, thank you for being here. In your testimony, you note that the operations and capital investment of America's freight railroads support over 1 million jobs, $219 billion in economic output, and $71 billion in wages. Additionally, railroads generated nearly $26 billion in tax revenues in 2017. I know a couple other of my colleagues have mentioned and talked about the USMCA, and that's kind of the path that I want to go down. But international trade accounts for about 35% of the U.S. rail revenue, 27% of the U.S. rail tonnage, and 42% of the carloads and intermodal units U.S. railroads carry. Can you discuss the needs for Congress to ratify the USMCA and what impact the trade agreement would have on the railroad and freight industry and their workers?
Thank you, Congressman. That is a fantastic question. I cannot reiterate more the need to move forward on USMCA. North-South trade, with the U.S., obviously our largest trading partners, and the amount of goods that flow out of the country via rail to both the North and the South, from grain, for example, into Mexico is our largest export product. It's staggering, quite honestly. It's a job creator. It's an economic uplifter for our customers. And not only that, when you look at the supply chain that's been built up over the past several decades, it is an international supply chain. So on a lot of products, automotive, for example, you'll see parts move back and forth across the border multiple times. So it's not something that can just be ripped up and airdropped in another fashion. So, 50,000 rail jobs rely directly on international trade. A lot of those are north-south movements. Again, and so I cannot state our support for getting USMCA done as soon as possible enough.
All right, thank you very much. Madam Chair, I yield back my remaining time. Thank you, panel.